Kind of hang tight and take your notes.
Okay.
So the next part is energy and emotions. Lauren will read that one for you.
So your energy and emotions have to be high. We always talk about one of our vocabulary words is vibrations. When you're in a space of lack or doubt, you're resisting and blocking what you're calling in to your life. So, everybody knows what that feels like, that resistance or that feeling of lack. That's why Liz said it's important to choose the right language as well.
I always go back to relationship because that's an easy one to give a lot of examples for. It might not be something you're looking for, but the example is really good. So a lot of times we might say, I've never had any luck, or every relationship I've had has crashed and burned. When you give that, you're affirming more of that. So what you want to say is hopeful, like, I know the relationship is coming, and you want to embody the emotions before it comes of what that would feel like. So you almost don't even need that other person or that relationship because you've now filled yourself with the emotion that it's going to bring you. And that's what you really want. And you're going to find that it's going to come to you because the thing isn't dependent anymore if it's there. So it's kind of interesting the way it goes, and we'll give more examples about it later. But your energy, like Lauren said, is very, very important. And it's difficult when things in life start to go a little awry. Like we've actually had that this week, and you still have to continue. We talk a lot about mantras and affirmations and having faith and keeping that positive talk through those difficult times, because you have to somehow figure out how to raise your vibration. So we talk a lot about music. So when you find that something is happening and it's derailed you for a moment and you're feeling low. Right. So say something at work happens, or you have a conversation with a relative that puts you in a negative space and your language starts to turn again. We do things what else besides music?
So we like to listen to comedy. We like to watch.
Laughter.
Laughter is very important to raise your vibration. Exercise.
Movement is very big to shift the energy. We also talk, and this is very important, and it's part of the neuroscience piece, is that it takes 21 days for a new pathway to form. So everything is electricity. When you have a thought, it's electricity. A neuron is fired away on a path. So when you have kept thinking the same way, you've made your path very strong. So now when you want to try a new way of thinking, it's going to take 21 days for that to even develop, and that takes work. Then once it develops, it's still not as strong as your old way of thinking. So you have to continue on the pattern of the new language. We like to listen to a lot of podcasts and a lot of people. One of them, if you want to write it down, he's amazing, is Dr. Joe Dispenza. And we can put him up in the end if people have, questions about him. He talks a lot about the brain and meditation and visualization. So that's one way to continue strengthening those neurons. And if anybody has questions about that specific process, we can totally answer them while you're working. But to get to the next one, this is the fun part. Exercise your brain. I love it. It's like doing burpees for your brain.
Yeah. So what we don't realize is our brain really is a superpower, and we have it right within ourselves to change and pivot anything that goes awry, like Liz said, throughout the day or the week. It happens to all of us. So if we're going to train ourselves how to rewire our brain, we're going to exercise our brain. And that means with the vision board as your tool, you're going to look at your vision board and
daydream. You're going to play. Like, this is the fun part. We, as adults, we forget that we have to play. So you're using your imagination. We say connect with your board in the morning. You're supposed to do it 5 minutes and 5 minutes again at night before you go to bed. So it's like a 10-minute process, and it's really not difficult. You just look at your vision board and you imagine as if it's already happening. Your brain does not know the difference between time and space. So if you think of an old memory, your brain doesn't know that it's not happening. So you might even start to feel triggers in your body. You might start to feel a tingling or the tightness in the throat if you think about a fight or an argument, because your brain doesn't know it's not happening, and it sends the nervous system because it's all connected. So we say, remember your future. So that
basically means that you're rewiring your brain to create a new memory and then store that in your head. And then what ends up happening is you're letting go of that old memory.
And you get excitement towards it. You look at the images and you feel the smells. Like we have people who put beautiful gardens in their backyard in the image, and they picture themselves sitting in the Adirondack chair, and immediately their senses just calm. So it's very interesting. You have to not only visualize the picture, but embody the emotion that it brings to you, the smells, the sounds.
So I want to interrupt you for a second, Liz. What I'm going to say is when we start looking through magazines and you start selecting images, that exercise, I will say, pick something that ignites something in you, that speaks to you, that makes you feel an emotion.
Yes.
It might not make sense to you, but if you're like, oh, I like the colors in this picture.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a literal picture. It could be something that just ignites a feeling in you that brings you somewhere else. So again, it's almost like child's play. It's really, you're using your imagination.
And that's the fun part. So that's where you get excited about it. And then we say it's a daily practice, meaning you have to connect to your board daily, in the morning and then again at night. And that's what strengthens and creates those new neurons and creates a new path. The last analogy I'll give you is when you have your route to work. You end up traveling it back and forth that you don't even have to look half the time.
Mhm.
You kind of get home sometimes and you're like, gee, I don't even remember passing, X spot, because it just becomes this route that's traveled that you don't have to think about it. It becomes subconscious. But along the way, if there's an accident and you have to take a different route that you don't know, you have to really think and you have to be aware and you're conscious. So that's what happens when you're creating this new pathway of this new way of being and thinking. You have to use your toolbox. We go back to those mantras, the affirmations, the podcasts, finding a friend and talking to them. I know this week was actually, I'll tell you, a little bit difficult for me. And Lauren, I would wake up and she would send me a video that would bring me right back. So you have to remember to just keep bringing yourself right back.
And that's also, just so everyone knows, the support system is so important when you're going through life. That Liz does most of the social media, and our IG really is focused on how to raise your vibration or to be positive.
And we call it a vibe high tribe. It's not that you follow us to follow us. We connect all the time. People are constantly messaging us questions about their vision board, telling us something they manifested. People even say, I'm having a difficult time. And I always answer back right away. So that's always an option for you too, if you would like to do that.
So I just like to add, just like Liz said, with the daily practice, you really need to, the reason why we made it, the vision board appealing to everybody was so that you can hang it or put it somewhere where you can have like a ritual every day and connect with it. Morning, sometimes if you have your breakfast or your coffee. At night, I have mine in my room, my bedroom. Some people put it in their office.
Right.
You're programming your subconscious mind. So also be aware in life, like before you go to bed, don't watch any negative TV. Don't watch things because you don't want to go to sleep with those thoughts and feelings in your subconscious. So that's something to be pretty mindful of, because it really does make a difference.
It does. It makes a total difference. So what we're going to say is start opening up, get everything ready. Before we go on, everybody can unmute. If you have any questions before you start, let's start with that now. But there is something we want to tell you. There are signs and symbols we talk about that are pretty powerful for your board. And one of them is steps. We say that's kind of something that's showing you I'm elevating. I'm only going up. It's very powerful. My other favorite one is open doors, because you're saying to the universe, I'm open, I'm open-minded, I'm ready to receive, like you're opening up. Closed doors are kind of like you're shutting. Lauren made a very interesting vision board. She had one door shut and one door open. She wanted to shut one and open another.
Don't leave that door half open.
No, that's another thing.
Close
It's very
those
important.
doors need to close.
If you're looking for something in life, if you have one door slightly open waiting for something, the other thing isn't going to come and deliver until you've made peace and shut that
Because
door.
again, that goes back to your recipe for seed and for setting intentions. If you are unsure of what you want, the universe is confused. You have to be so specific that you're closing the door to something.
And the other thing that we have to say is putting the faith behind the universe and the trust. So often we want to control the outcome the way we want it to be, but it's really putting it out there embodying the emotion of what it's going to feel like, and then having the trust as if it's already there. Because if it doesn't come, you also know that it wasn't going to be the best option for you. So it's having that faith, like, I know whatever's going to be is for my best interest.
So a lot of times with the kids, when we do a children's workshop, we like to use the example about scoring a goal and how that made them feel and the high that it made them feel. And then we all know this, if we're having a really great day or something great happened, it's contagious. That day stays great because everything that happens, your energy is so high.
And you have to think the opposite too. Think about when you're having a bad day and you focus on like, this went wrong, and then everything chain reaction. You could keep manifesting more good, right, or more bad. So you want to stay on that positive spectrum and meet everything with gratitude, which might be difficult, but gratitude is key. Even when something happens, this is teaching me a lesson. This is difficult. I'm growing out of this experience. You have to, and thanking it, even though it's something that's so difficult and terrible, and destructive. So here's a vision board. Another symbol, we say compasses if you're looking for directions. Or you want to direct clear. We say eyes a lot of times show that you have clarity, you know where you want to go. Water is another symbol that's very cleansing. Is there any other that we missed? Doors. Oh, roads and pathways. So a lot of times you'll see a winding pathway and you might resonate with that because you may have had life maybe very windy and shifty, or you might see a beautiful clear path that kind of looks like it's opening to the ocean or the forest, and that might create an emotion for you of having that very straight, clear path. So those are some symbols you can look for. You don't have to. They're just ones we like to talk about.
Okay, so let's start. Maybe set your intentions. Maybe write, I would say for that board, maybe 3 or 4. You know, a lot of people like to do money, career, health,
and family, hobbies. So everybody take a minute, and then we would love it if a couple people would share their intentions, because a lot of other people sometimes have the same, and we can discuss and chat about it.
Susan, do you have something in mind that you were going to use on your board?
While you were talking, I just happened to pick up the very first magazine on the top of the pile, and the thing I had found was planning a vacation. That is something we haven't done for a long time, and that's what I would like to work towards.
Good. I love that. I think everybody's looking for that one this year.
I do. I agree. Everybody does need a little vacation.
Anyone else like to share?
You just have to unmute yourself before you can be heard.
Hi, I'm feeling whole. That
Okay.
a lot of layers.
It does, but what I can suggest to you is
self-love.
Self-love. We always go straight to self-love.
Okay.
It's the start of everything.
Well, I go to self-love all the time, because when you can embody that emotion, you're only going to do what's best for yourself, what makes yourself feel good. So you don't do anything destructive, even going down to your thoughts. I'm only going to treat myself with the utmost care. And that's where it stems from. But it's very interesting because I had an affirmation, and I kept writing it in my journal every day. And I kept writing, I am love. I create my source energy. So when you meet yourself in that space and you're constantly saying, I am love, I love you, you start to embody that feeling of love, and it feels so good. And it's not coming from another source other than yourself.
Yeah. And Dr. Joe, who we spoke about before, he is also another great person to follow. He talks a lot about that self-love, don't you think?
Would you tell us how to spell his last name, please?
Let me look it up so I'm accurate.
D-I-S. Yeah, D-I-S. P-E-N. P as in Peter. E-N-Z-A. Dispenza.
And he's on Instagram.
He's everywhere.
Okay, great.
He has great, when you just search him up, if you go to YouTube, he has so many talks. He meets with Jay Shetty, like all the big gurus. I don't even know if he's met with Gabby Bernstein, but he has a lot of very interesting conversations and topics and ways of handling things. You'll really like him. He's
Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody
Thank-
else have anything for their intentions?
Hi, I just wanted to share that I did a vision board several years ago. It was part of our grief therapy. And I just want to say it works.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see it. This is some of it. And I've taken things off of it already because we did them. So it really does work. And
So
I
Lorraine, what were you, when you did it last time, I'm curious to know, what were the tools that they gave you to help you understand how it works and how to manifest?
a lot of what you just shared with us, same things. And we were in a very dark place because we'd all just lost someone very close, a loved one. So to self-love, to feel good about yourself, not to feel guilty, to look to the future.
You know
all
who's
things.
excellent if anybody is experiencing guilt? Bernier Brown. Is that how you say her name? Renee. Renee. I gotta look her up.
Renee.
Brene Brown. She's another excellent one. She did TED Talks all about that. And it's
There's a Netflix on it.
so you bring up such an interesting point because some emotions can block everything else and you can't get any work done. It's like peeling back in layers of an onion. It's almost like I can't get to here until I heal this, until this and that. So it's like we can say, oh, I want to self-love, but it's almost like you can't do that until you get that
Yeah.
first piece done.
So it's so important to learn how to land on that frequency of attraction and identify what makes you have a good vibration and what makes you not. And then learn how to filter that
It's
throughout
also-
the day.
It's also coming in alignment with yourself. We use that word all the time, but that mind, your body, and your soul, which is really your head, your heart, and your spirit, until that's connected, it's very interesting. You can't, like you said,
Yeah.
land on that frequency to attract. Like if something is like you mentally can keep saying it repetition wise, but until you feel it, it's not going to happen.
And like Liz said, with our neuroscience classes that we started taking, it is all connected. Like,
Mhm.
and sometimes we're starting to think that maybe your heart is really what is, don't you always say that lately? Like you think the heart is really running the show, not the mind?
It's really kind of like I thought I had, and the scientists have brought it up, but it was something I always thought about was that it's really our heart that's our brain, and that our brain is really like the hard drive computer system just telling everything, because everything is really driven by an emotion. Everything is energy, it's electrical, and if you think about it, the breath in the heart is what really regulates it. When we get
Right.
excited or nervous, we breathe very fast. Our heart is breathing very fast. Your heart actually has 40,000 neurons in it that's connected to your brain by your vagus nerve. So when your heart feels something, it sends,
signal.
right to your brain. So they're very much connected and in
So
alignment.
they're firing and wiring. And that's the science behind it. So it's pretty cool, but it is very important in manifesting, like you said, and to keep on track, to be very mindful and conscious of that moving forward, because it does really affect your body.
Did anybody else want to share anything? And I hope everybody is cutting and gluing and pasting. Yeah, Cynthia.
Hi, I have a question. On my way thinking about this activity, I wanted to put a relationship. But I also feel awkward about it because I don't know if that's, I don't know. I just feel uncomfortable about it. So I thought I should say something because I've wanted a relationship for the last, 15 years
Right.
and I haven't had it.
So
So there's a couple things. Relationship is
With
actually
self.
one of my favorite topics. The first thing, and I've heard lots of people in the field talk about this, is that when we want to meet somebody, you have to write down specifically exactly what it is you want. You make that list, but then whatever's on that list, you have to become. So you become that within yourself first. So if you want somebody who's trustworthy,
Right.
I have to be trustworthy. If I want somebody who's good with bills, I have to be good with bills. Because you're literally going to attract the energy that you put out. That's the first step. The second step is, and like we said, embodying the emotion. I know it's coming. What is it going to feel like? So your board might just be pictures and images of the emotion of what that's going to make you feel. And then start to feel that within yourself. Like as if you already wake up and that person, like the feeling of what it feels is there. And you're going to slowly see that the relationship, because you've gotten so happy, almost isn't as important anymore. And that's when all of a sudden it's like, boom, the universe drops them right in your lap. You know what I mean? And we've watched it time and time again, but it's tricky because you have to follow the steps of that. It's like feeling the emotion of somebody without them being there. I remember listening to Abraham Hicks, and she's hard to follow. She talks faster than me. And the woman was saying, you know, I wanted a relationship, so Abraham Hicks told me to get happy. So I got a cat. And I love the cat, so I got another cat. And I kept petting the cat. And she's like, one day I became happy. And she's like, 6 months later, I met a man.
Yeah.
6 months later, I'm married. She's like, and we have 10 cats.
So if anybody doesn't know who Abraham Hicks is, go on YouTube. Yeah, there's great
He's really good
videos.
too. And you know what it is? It's not putting the focus on it anymore. And it's
No.
not feeling the lack if it isn't there. It's almost like, you know what? I kept saying to myself, because both Lauren and I are divorced, I kept saying, I know there's somebody out there for me. Maybe it's not
Yeah.
now, maybe it's not 5
We're
years.
still working on it.
Well, I don't know.
Well, we'll figure out this one.
I don't know.
But we definitely have the same journey.
Mhm.
We totally get it. And like Liz said, be specific, set your intentions. But we talked about this the other day on our IG. But you can't over manifest. You can't obsess about
Oh
it.
yeah, we were
You
talking about
can't
this yesterday. It's so funny.
overthink about it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, because when you're overly, you're like putting so much,
Resistance.
yeah, like so much of this tight energy on it. And I'm not going to be happy until I get that thing.
That never
And
happens.
then that's not what you're blocking yourself, because it's like, I have to be happy. And
Right now.
yeah. And then once the universe feels you relax, it's like, okay, here we go. Everything is like the ocean, waves and flows,
Mhm.
waves and flows. So you got to just like, okay, I'm going to work with it.
Okay, thanks.
It's coming. I feel it.
I keep saying that, but
Don't keep saying it. Keep feeling it. It's already here.
It's already done. And like I said, if you have IG, follow us. We'll make you laugh. We talk about our own stuff. This is how we started VisionWorks. We both were living parallel lives on a path of divorce, let's just say. And we met through
Not even
mutual
like a
friends.
regular divorce. It was like one of those like
Tumultuous.
explosions coming out from behind.
Not even normal, but anyway. So, you know, that was where I started. How am I going to rewire my brain? Because we were both really in despair, you know, separately. And then we met each other, we connected. And I said, hey, and as Liz said, I'm an interior designer. And I was like, and I always did vision boards. I always did mood boards. I always did boards for projects. I said, how would you like to do a company where we're teaching about vision boards and rewiring our brain? Because this is really a journey for us too, on how to get ourselves
was in
back, our
such
happy back, feeling whole.
Place. I didn't even give you a chance. I was like, yes. Yes. I didn't even think about it. Yes.
It's just signed up. She's like, what? I'm ready.
You said teach? Yes. That's right in my alley. I'll teach. But I think it's very important. Like I said, Cynthia, too, I think a big piece for you is just going to, like we do, laugh with life, have fun. And I think that vibration puts it out. Because when we attach that language, because I even heard a little bit, and if you know, you were Lauren, you'd been like, change your language. You know, like I've been looking for 15 years or I haven't found something yet. It's kind of changing that thing. Because we also say a lot of times too,
Wait, can I interrupt
that somebody's manifesting you, but they might not be ready at their part of their journey. So they're still working.
Yes. And Cynthia, when you talk in that language, you're doing that negative self-talk, as we call it. And it's almost like you're like, oh, I'm broken. you know, and
Yeah.
we all feel like that sometimes, right? Like something's wrong with me. Why
Sometimes.
can't sometimes throughout the day, we all get like that, you know, what's wrong with me, or what, you know, or looking around us and seeing what's going on around us with other people. So we get it. And you know what? It's really changing your language, changing your perspective.
We
Your
even say
mindset.
while you're doing this, like you could do this with us, or you can even pause and do, some people like to do it themselves later. We say, put on your favorite music, pour a glass of whatever it is you like, tea, wine, and just raise your vibration, get silly, dance. When you see like I love magazines. If I look at a magazine, she knows I'll be looking and I see something, I'm like, ah!
Like Liz put smiles on all her boards. Because she was so sad.
I was so
And she didn't even
broken.
realize it. And she just kept putting like Julia Roberts' big
Yeah.
smile, literally, on her board. She was like, I don't know why.
Because I
This
wanted
just
her
makes me
emotion.
feel like this is what I want to feel like. You know, I
Right.
want to feel that happy smile, that big
Right.
smile Julia Roberts always has, you know, and that's really something of representative. And
Because
it
I think
really
it's often that we can feel that life takes away our joy. And it doesn't have to be from relationships. It could be from anything, a loss of a job, a loss of a relative, an argument with, you know, a spouse, a child. And when our joy is taken away from us, it really strips our source out
Yeah.
of us. So you have to connect that to joy and happiness,
and we
gratitude.
judge ourselves too. We
I
sometimes are
think
too
that-
hard on ourselves.
Oh,
I think
Very
that
judgy.
was something.
I see Christine put her camera up. Hi, Christine. Did you want to share or show anything?
Oops.
Oh, you have to unmute.
Oh, I'm just having a ball. This is so wonderful. I'm sitting out on my deck, cutting up all my magazines.
Good. I love it.
Love.
So if anybody really does enjoy this, these are just mini boards that we do for workshops at libraries because we don't have a lot of time, but we actually sell our boards are custom framed, larger size so that you can hang them in your office. You can hang them by your bed. It's a piece of artwork. And I love them because after you manifest things, even though it's done, you look at them and you have such pride. Like
I
did
never
that.
take them down. I wanted to share with you guys, Liz, do I have your picture in here? I have one of my perfect manifestations, was my daughter. When I found out I was pregnant, I wanted a girl. So I just started collecting things and, I didn't even have a board actually. I had it on this thing on my dresser like that I would tack it to. And when my daughter was 6, I got pregnant. We found out it was a girl. When my daughter was 6 months old, I was staring at her in her playpen and I was like, holy, this child
Oh,
is
yeah.
the child on my vision board. And I never even realized it. So I'm going to show you the picture. One is of a magazine clipping. One is my daughter. And Liz is going to show you her favorite one.
Yeah, I'll show you my favorite.
Oh my God.
Right?
Wow.
So the one standing is the magazine. The one in the playpen is my daughter.
I have this one. I ride horses. So I made the board. I put a picture of a horse that I just like love the way it looks. And I went to my lesson 2 weeks later. Can you see the face? Is anybody able to see it? It was like identical. They had the same exact markings. I was literally like, I'm powerful. I put money on the board. Put a man. I'm kidding.
No, you're not. But it is fun actually when you start seeing things that you're like, wait a minute, this is really happening.
Mhm.
It does get exciting, and that's really the beauty of it. You know, it's something that you can share with people and show your excitement.
We also say take a picture of your board and you can use it as your screensaver on your phone because sometimes throughout the day, like you just click your phone and you're like, you catch a word like balance. And it might even just be at the right moment that it catches you and it brings you back. We also talk a lot about numbers being signs. So some of you might notice when you look on the clock all the time, you might see a same series of numbers. It definitely is a sign, a lot of the universe saying you're going in the right direction. 1111 is a very powerful one. 333 is abundance, and
Yeah, if you look up angel signs, you could see, but I always get them on license plates, like it's crazy.
yes, license plates are such a big
Right?
or sometimes too, like I was driving home and there was a taxi. There's never taxis, everything's Uber, but the number was like 363-3333. I was like, oh, money's coming.
So any other questions?
Yeah, does anybody want to share so far their work or anything? Cynthia.
Hi, I think that's why I was not quite comfortable, because I know that focusing on a guy is not the way to get a guy. It's more what you said. I have to focus on getting myself happier, because I have a lot of family responsibilities right now, and they prohibit me from doing what I really want to do.
Yeah.
So
You're going to have to put yourself on the list, Cynthia. You have to make yourself a priority, right? We always say this, even if it's for an hour and you say, I'm gonna, whatever you enjoy doing, you know, whether it's exercise, meditate, reading, just something that brings you joy.
Yeah.
When you start raising your vibrations by taking care of yourself, you're going to start attracting more things in your life.
And I think you're gonna see that your mind shift is gonna like shift from wanting the relationship to enjoy taking care of yourself so much. Like for me, through my healing process, I went to yoga. I went every week to a massage and acupuncture, just to kind of like bring everything centered back to me. It's like those very calming things. Maybe you want to go for walks on the beach. Even though you're alone, you're going to notice your mind is going to start shifting out of being so focused on that relationship. You'll start to notice things, the sounds and the birds, and then you're going to think, wow, that was, you know, like such a great walk. I want to do that again tomorrow. Or even finding a friend. Like sometimes I say, and I don't say sometimes, like she totally replaced having a partner for me of the male kind. And that relationship was so filling and so happy for me. I started to not feel like I needed to have a male partner, because it was filling whatever I needed to heal at the moment.
What ends up happening is, you know, when you start feeding yourself and your soul, again, you don't have that lack of resistance. So, you know, a lot of people talk about meditating, and I've tried to meditate, and I do sometimes, I do. It's not easy. It's not easy to quiet your mind. But what meditation does is it turns off your analytical brain and it helps your creative brain. It kind of allows it to be free. So that it doesn't have that resistance. And when you're doing something you enjoy or something that's taking care of yourself, you're kind of in that meditative state, right? If you're going for a walk, or you like to be out in nature, or you like to get mad at petties or whatever, that's like a ritual thing that you should do. That's almost like the same thing. You're quieting that analytical mind,
right?
And you're giving the creative brain some time to breathe and to be free. And that's the difference between adults and children, by the way.
Also, it's not just letting go of the thoughts, but it's letting go of the emotion that's attached to that thought. So when you're thinking those things, you're immediately falling into a lack of emotion, because you're feeling like you don't have something. Something's missing. So when you feel that with nothing's missing, and that doesn't have to be just relationships, that's anything you're looking for, that job, having a child, the vacation, money, you have to embody that feeling of it already being there.
And gratitude for what is here. What
the lesson is teaching you, because you might say to yourself, this is teaching me to take care of myself, or, you know, whatever it is at the lesson, because sometimes we can
I'm gonna make them laugh. So we're two single girls, right? Divorced. On the dating scene, it's a jungle out there. Everybody knows this, right? Especially during COVID. But we always say, when we end up breaking up with the guy, we always tell them, we're so grateful for you. We appreciate how this relationship has served us. And I swear these guys probably think we're crazy.
Probably. But each and every time.
But they still are friends with us.
Even if it's not a relationship, everything that happens to us serves us. It either teaches us a lesson, and then when we learn how to correct it and move through that lesson differently, that's when life gets a little easier. So even if something negative happens, like even if a relative passes, it teaches you almost how to regulate an emotion. It might teach you how to regulate your guilt. It might teach you how to, and you become more strong and whole as from the experience. But you can also think, oh, I've learned something and I want to help give that to somebody else. So I'm not sure, is it Lorianne? Am I saying it correctly? Lorraine? If you can unmute if you want. Do you feel like through your journey and experience that you went through and meeting other people, that talking with them and giving some of your experience through that kind of helped you as well heal in your position?
Absolutely, and became very close with 3 other grieving widows, and 5 years later, we're still together. I think I'm here to my house tomorrow. We're going to have a potluck dinner.
Yeah.
The universe always delivers just what you need.
And when you're doing service, just this is the other thing I learned when I was so depressed. I had just had my baby actually, and my marriage had broken up, and I was so exhausted from the whole thing, and I was so down. And I just knew that if I started doing something outside of myself, like teaching people about vision boards or teaching people about rewiring their brain, that if you're doing service and giving, that is also a healer, that helps you go through any kind of trauma. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, Vision Works has helped us really grow through that divorce process.
I said that's what really put me on my healing journey, because I don't think I would have been in the same spot if we didn't do the things that we continually kept pushing each other to do, change our language.
The people that we're meeting, like in this workshop, like on IG, everybody is cheering us on. If we didn't have that support, we would have like stopped a year ago because nobody would have listened.
But not only that, with the people we've met, the experiences and the things that we've learned from them. Like, we are so connected to so many of the people that we've done workshop with, because their stories, what they've overcome. And I think that's really what a vision board is. It's overcoming an obstacle that's presented to us and getting what it is that we desire, because everything goes right back to an emotion, because it's an emotion we want to feel. So I love when Lorraine had said that she met 3 beautiful women, that she now has this amazing relationship. We want to control what it is that we think we want that will make us feel better. And the universe really know, here are these 3 people that are going to do that for you.
And them also helping other people that have experienced loss.
We have done that too. Other people that see what we went through and where we are today, it helps them to heal and to go forward. And we always tell them, and I have a friend that's very negative, make a vision board. It really works, but you can't force them to. She's not.
No, but we would love if your group, I don't know if you go to a place, you know, was interested in having us come. We do a lot of work with bereavement. We do a lot of work with people who have substance abuse issues, because really, when we started the company, it was never about making money. I think it was really about helping people become better, feel better, do better,
and inspire everyone. You know, this is not like a craft. This is science. This is real, and we can heal each other and teach each other how to exercise these things. And like we say, what's in the toolbox, right? When we're so broken, sometimes we need that support and somebody to inspire us.
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk after.
Sure.
Okay.
Love it. Does anybody want to show? You can hold up, or has anybody found a picture that they love when they saw it? They were like, this is it. And you can layer. You want to layer images on top. Strong. What does it say?
What does that say?
Read it. I can't see it.
It says strong start, bold finish.
Yes.
I like it.
I like seeing that.
And I'm into finding family roots.
Ooh, I love that.
And of course, I want to retire, so I need lots of this.
Yes.
What field are you in?
I'm sorry?
What field are you in?
I work for the town, and they have a small water district, so I run the office there. But it's time to move on.
And
This is my life in bloom.
I love that.
You know what we do? Our life never stops blooming. It never does.
Look, Anne has the same one. Here it is.
Renee, Anne, did you pick that too?
I haven't, I was going to pick the flowers, but now that she said that, maybe,
Yeah.
so here's mine so far.
Yeah.
Great. That's crazy.
Love it.
I'm gonna put my face on it.
Yes. But when you look at a vision board, like the way it makes me feel, it immediately, even if it's somebody else's, gives me such like a big emotional like vibration.
Hmm?
Good
Yeah.
job,
You're
Anne.
excited. for
Thank
people.
you.
That was
Thank-
meant for you. That was meant for you. See,
See?
Liz, you spoke to those magazines that you picked out. Nothing is an accident. that's for
Nothing.
sure.
Nothing. I'm starving.
Does anyone have any other questions? Just so that we don't miss anybody's questions before we wrap.
Yeah.
And also, like Liz said, we are always around. We're always available. If anybody ever wants to message us, you know.
We are friends. I saw with Nancy on Instagram. Hi, our new friend.
We have a website if you want to look at our bio. It's called shopvisionworksny.com. And we're building and we're growing, but we are two single moms with kids. And so it's been challenging, but we've been pushing to grow.
Well, I just wanted to share something before we leave.
Yes.
So I'm doing my vision board. I don't know if you can see it, but it says, an ode to summer, grounded in good things.
Yes.
So I'm reading this book on beekeeping, and it's really not so much about beekeeping as it is like
Life.
learning community. I haven't read the whole book, but it has a lot of psych and healing and working with people and how the bees, work in a colony and all this. So I found this one thing that said, "Be sweet to the bees." So I stuck it on my board.
Oh my gosh.
But in my other thing, I think I had an aha moment.
I think it's so wild
Wait,
how
you had an
people.
aha moment.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the other article that I find in this Magnolia Journal, which I subscribe to, which I haven't had a chance to read, it says, "Keeping the hive."
That was meant for you.
Yeah, I think it was an aha moment. I have a feeling bees may be in my future.
I agree.
Yeah, that was worth the price of admission. Thank you so much.
I like honey. No, I'm kidding.
I just want to add, and I think you'll all agree. We always talk about doing something like this, an activity, but we never make time to do it. And that's what I always loved about setting these workshops, is because it forces you to sit down and just be. And Liz and I talk about this all the time. Why can't it just be? Why can't we just be? Like, we're always doing and trying to control everything, and see what all these beautiful things coming out of your magazines, these messages that resonate with you. It's not an accident. You finally made time for yourself, and I love it. I love the messages coming out.
Anybody else want to share or show anything?
Hi,
Question?
this is Nancy talking. I know Lorraine from church.
Ah,
So,
St. Pat's?
no, actually, Our Lady Queen of Martyrs.
Yeah, they're in.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Harborfield. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Lorraine, did you use Maria Ryan's
Yes.
brief? Okay, because they've been meeting a new group, and Lorraine, the other Lorraine that lost her husband recently,
Okay.
she was attending, and I think she's someone who could really benefit from this. So I was thinking of giving the name, your group, your VisionWorks name, to Maria Ryan, who's the head of parish.
Yeah, we love
Please
working with
share.
the church. We
Yeah.
worked with St. Pat's. We met with the priest there. We did some vision boards with him. It was great. He's actually now in Italy.
It's funny, when we started doing this, it was right before COVID, and we had all these things planned. We even had something planned with the school district
yeah.
and things like that.
I always said I
And
wanted.
COVID kind of made us shift everything. We still were able to grow, but in a different way than what we had planned.
It actually made us grow outside
Yeah.
of we were just focusing on the Long Island area. We actually just did a workshop for a magazine called Experience Life for 220 of their women in leadership programs. So they were all over the country. And then we just worked with another app called the Peanut app. And it was actually super like a big moment for me because they had people we had to do it was in Australia and Great Britain. So we couldn't do it at the same time as the US. So we had to do a specific one for them based on time. And it was just, I was like, wow, we're like outside of the US right
Outside
now.
the box now.
These two little girls over here.
So we love it. If you share, we love it. We
Yeah,
love
I'm gonna
teaching.
give her the.
We love sharing. I think that's the gift.
Yeah.
That's the gift we want to give people.
Because it kind of is like an awakening for you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if we can teach you what we've learned and help you make the time to do it, you took the step to do it, right? Like you said, worth the price of admission, but you actually carved out time. And that's what we all need to do for ourselves.
And make
because
sure you do
that's
it
the beginning.
daily because if you don't, it won't work.
Yeah, consistency is key. What
I
is
can,
that?
I can share one thing that, one of the reasons why I brought you folks in was 25 years ago, I was looking to change careers. And I was having a difficult time deciding what I wanted to do. And I got a book called Work with Passion. I believe it's out of print right now, but a vision board was one of the projects. I did it and it led me towards the job I have now. So I do think it works. I just quickly came up with a small one, so hopefully I will be planning my vacation.
Yay.
We want to hear your stories. Stay connected with us so we can share and we can inspire you guys, continuously. It's a journey. We're all on this journey. And I think that even this year, like I said, COVID changed our perspective on things, but it wasn't necessarily all bad.
No, I think so many beautiful gifts came out of COVID.
Definitely. We're more connected.
I think it also made us realize that there was so many underlying emotional things going on, but that because life was so fast paced, we didn't recognize it until the world shut down and you had to stop and sit with yourself every day. And you're like, wait, what is this?
Sit with ourselves and everybody else in our family.
My children.
That was fun.
Do you have an email that we could stay in touch? Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
It's VisionWorks NY. VisionWorks with an S.
With an S.
NY @gmail.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So I guess if anybody doesn't have any questions or doesn't want to pop their board up for one last aha. All right.
Well, ladies, thank you very much. This has been a great
amazing.
presentation.
And thank you for sharing with us, for everybody who shared. And I can't wait. And hopefully all these beautiful things come about.
Thank you guys. Happy manifesting.
Yes.
It was
Bye,
wonderful.
everybody.
Thank
Really
you.
wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies. Good night.
Bye.
Susan, we'll stay on a minute.
Okay.
I wonder if all the other people just couldn't make it, or
It's
if
how
they-
many was on there? It seemed like it was a decent
We
number.
did.
We had 17.
And
that-
including you and I, we had 12.
Okay.
So there were probably 4 or 5 people that tried to log in and missed it, but sometimes it's just people got busy and couldn't come. But this way they, I can share the recording just with those folks.
I love
Yeah,
that. Thank you. so
thank
much,
you.
Susan.
This was good.
All right. I think it's just us, so we can say goodbye now.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank you so
Susan.
much for
I hope you
having us.
enjoyed.
My pleasure.
Good luck with the
night.
vacation. Bye-bye.
Bye.